I don't have anything funny to say for this video, but apparently if you just say, for the boys...
I had to pick up my prescription at the drugstore. I remember it's the first time that I realized I'm getting old and life is a nightmare. I'm getting old, I just found my first gray hair. Nobody cares cause all the kids in today's pop scene were born after 1999. 1999. I will say goodbye, I'm getting older all the time, and no, I'm not as relevant. My old songs are pretty sweet. Please don't mind what I'm trying to say, cause I like the nostalgia when I hear you. Tell me my band is here to stay, even though we don't want to change. Modern musicians really freaking blow.
Oh, hi everybody. I'm just mailing out the invitations for next week. I'm getting everything together. It really should be called two of the boys tonight because we have Quentin here, and that's it. So I'm really excited about next week's show. And we had an existential crisis here, and now we're gonna talk about it. Well, why anything even, right? Why anything? What if anything? In the immortal words of Donald Trump.
This is the last show of me being in Virginia.
That's cool. Saturday, right?
Yep. Supposedly.
All right. I am finishing now the invitations.
So this fucking goblin next to me asked me, "Hey, how's your vape situation doing?" Fucking an hour later, the shit dies. Is dead completely.
Yep. It's dead. It's dead in Jesus on Good Friday. So this is going to be a pretty subdued stream is what I was trying to get at. I have no idea how long it's going to take to melt this wax, but it's going to take some amount of time. I'm practicing. I am muted since waiting for my boss to take over so I can go on break and spend some time with my call. I appreciate you. I don't know. Once I get this stuff going, I guess I have to wait for the wax to heat up anyway. You know, you never appreciate how long it takes for wax to melt until you actually have to melt it. Am I right, boys?
Wax on, wax off.
Oh, yeah. There's a whole lot of waxing going on here. I even got these nifty tweezers. You should see this fucking shit. Okay, it is actually melting. That's neat. I didn't think it was. Well, I mean, it had to eventually, right?
Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Cheryl. I'm getting everyone's handmade invitations done. I've got all these. Hold on. I've written them all, and I have all these handmade. These are actually this is not just like paper. This is like almost like some kind of plastic or something. They're
That's
not plastic.
High quality envelope right there, boy.
It's an extremely high quality envelope. Spared no expense. So,
just for someone that might not even show up.
Whatever. I do it for the goof. Let's see here. I have videos. I just have to go get them. I was utilizing this for something else earlier. Why don't we start with this video? That'll be good.
This episode's brought to you by depression.
This episode's brought to you by Will Several Chins. I gotta lose weight. I know.
When I
lose weight.
When I get to New York, we need to get matching vapes.
Oh yeah, and then we can suck each other off, and
Exactly.
Carl can be there to supervise the suckage.
Yeah,
It's
he'll put the football
ridiculous.
game on.
Shut up! Yeah, I have a football on. Praise won't stop talking about that. He's so stupid.
That's
It's
because
not like that
listen.
story was some kind of mistake.
The real reason he's
Like,
talking
oh,
about
you
it.
found out.
The real reason he's talking about it is he's jealous that he couldn't be the one that sucked off Smokey for that in that football game.
He's like, really? That's all I had to do?
Let's put on football.
Okay. Before I put this on, this is the moment of truth. I'm going to seal the first envelope. I can't wait. I'm gonna finish these tomorrow, but I wanted to do the first envelope right now. It's going in.
Yeah, Jimmy, put it in the.
I checked this earlier to make sure it would fold and fit. Okay. All right, and now here comes the wax.
Yeah, I will. You're gonna make me bust. Yeah,
I'm gonna bust a nut, Jimmy.
yeah. That sounds more like Winnie the Pooh.
Oh bother! I'm gonna bust.
Yeah, Winnie, I'm about to go.
Christopher Robin. Oh.
That one Tiger character just canceled because of his name.
All right, hold on. I probably should have used a different color wax for this. Oh, hell yeah. All right. Now I just gotta let it dry. Oh, I blew too aggressively. Right, Carl? You know, you ever just blow too aggressively? I don't want to show it off yet. All right, I'm gonna let this dry a hot minute. Oh, everything's on fire. Oh, okay.
Oh, the camera's been on the whole time, huh?
Hello.
Hello.
What did I do earlier that happened with the? Oh no, that wasn't you. That was Scotty. We were working on something earlier.
How's he doing, by the way? Is he all right?
He's good. He's all right. He's still autistic.
In Tigger.
There we go. Okay. It was a lot of wax, so it took a second to dry. Okay. Now hold on. Put out the candle and the finishing touch. Let's see. Put on the gold. Oh yeah. Hold on. I'm almost done, guys. I know this isn't very exciting, but I'm thoroughly excited for this. This is going to be a real fucking treat. I'll put myself on the big screen so you guys can see this. Oh my god, it bitching.
Yeah, you should probably knock down the
Knock down the what?
comment so that way you can full screen without it being in the way.
Yeah, I know. I'm finishing. I put the finishing touch on the first envelope. Oh, cunt whore. Hold on. The cap flew off when I put it over there. All right. These are not the official colors. I'm probably going to do white for everybody else. This is the test one. So whoever gets this first one, you'll know.
Christ, that was loud as fuck.
What is?
I'm watching a certain retard's opening credits for his show that... Oh, that looks nice.
And it'll be hand addressed and everything. I'm gonna do it right now, but I'm not gonna reveal. There we go. I'm not going to reveal who's getting the first one. Let's see. I am currently addressing it. I know, this is so interesting. There we go. And then my stuff. And almost done. And I wish I'm not trying to spoil the surprise. I wish I could hold it up like when Donald Trump signs executive orders. But I will show you my Pokemon card collection.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
By the way, if you want, if you guys want to help,
some people know that meme. We need to censure Trump because he won't show us his Pokemon card collection. You guys know that fucking meme? There we go. Oh, yeah, you guys were just... Oh, my God. I'm so fucking greasy from today, dude. I did yard work today on top of everything else. A lot of people here know exactly how stressful my fucking night was for literally like 12 fucking hours. And then I had shit to do when I came home. And then I had shit to do fucking this afternoon. And it was just constant shit going on.
By the way, put me back on screen, faggot.
Oh, yeah, right.
So I'm moving to New York this weekend.
Dude, he called it. I'm fucking bald. Look at that. Look at how bald I am. Shut up.
How do I
Show
turn
me
this
yours.
off? So
you're moving to New York, okay. Hey, did you guys know Quentin's moving to New York? Okay.
I'm starting a GoFundMe for the Retard Foundation.
Okay. Anyway, first video.
What if the mental health crisis exists because we followed the wrong guy? In modern psychology, there were two major voices, Freud and Adler. Guess which one we built an entire industry around? In Freud's model, everything's about your childhood, your parents, your trauma. You're broken because of what happened to you. And healing means going back and reliving every moment. But Adler, he didn't ignore the past, but he said it's not the main thing. What really matters? Your beliefs, your goals, your sense of meaning. He believed healing came from taking responsibility, creating connection, and building purpose in the now. But we didn't follow Adler, we followed Freud. Because Freud's model made it easy to build an industry around therapy that keeps you talking year after year. It feels like healing, but nothing actually changes. You explain your patterns, you analyze your wounds, but you stay stuck. What we need is Adler's model. We need to reprogram your subconscious with forward-focused beliefs, not to stay stuck in the past. We built a tool to help you build the inner strength Adler talked about from the inside out. Click the link in our bio for access. What if the mental health crisis exists because we followed the wrong guy?
Right.
In modern psychology, there were two major voices, Freud.
For some reason, I have to double click when I'm doing StreamYard. I don't know why it does that. It throws me off. It's only when StreamYard is running. Anyway, I mean, that sounds about right. I mean, they just said that ADD was completely made up and they knew the whole time, so I'm really not surprised. So, as long as you keep going to fucking therapy and buying the pills, this will always be the status quo. I haven't looked into Adler much. I'm sure he was a pedophile or something. I don't actually know that. It just turns out the guys that make the most sense happen to be horrible people.
I mean,
So,
they did base all of modern psychology off a dude that talked about fucking your own mom.
yeah, that dude was definitely a fucking pedophile. He's like, sometimes sometimes a cigar is a cigar, and sometimes it's a big brown dick. Sigmund Freud, 1934 or some shit. You know?
Yeah. No, so Will is also part of the Retard Foundation, so if you want to help us not become retards anymore.
Yeah, he has to give me half of his money now. Oh, and he's putting me on his phone bill. Okay, next video.
So one of my favorite stories is in a mother's womb where two babies, and one turns to the other and says, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" And the other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what will be later." "Nonsense," said the first. "There's no life after delivery. What kind of life would that be?" "I don't know," said the second, "but there'll be more light than here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths. Maybe we'll have other senses we can't understand now." First goes, "That's ridiculous. Walking is impossible, and eating with our mouths, that's absurd. The umbilical cord is what scientifically supplies nutrition and all that we need, but it's far too short. Life after delivery is to be logically excluded." And the second says, "What if it's just different than it is here? Maybe we don't need that physical cord anymore." The first goes, "Okay, if there were life after delivery, then tell me, why has no one ever come back from there? Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery is nothing but darkness and silence and oblivion. It takes us nowhere." And the second says, "But certainly we'll meet Mother, and she'll take care of us." The first goes, "Mother? You actually believe in Mother? If Mother exists, where is she now?" And the second goes, "She's all around us. We are of her. It is in her that we live. Without her, this world would not and could not exist." And the first says, "I don't see her. It's only logical that she's not here." To which the second replied, "Sometimes, when you're in silence and you really listen, you can perceive her presence. You can hear her loving voice calling down from above." So one of my favorites.
All right.
Yeah, we're looking for meaning. These are all allegorical. We're all looking for meaning somewhere. There's got to be an answer in here somewhere.
I'm looking for the nearest shotgun.
Really? I mean, come on. That makes sense, right?
I mean, it does, but like, hey, man, how much do you think my ceiling fan can support my body weight?
I'm very tired, and I thought about this too much, and then talked to Ray about it, and then now all of the wind is gone out of my sails, and he's not here to back me up on this one.
No, I'm just trying to make you laugh, man. That's all.
No, it's all right. It's good.
I'm not trying to bust your balls.
This is like the calm. This episode is sort of the calm before the storm because of all the shenanigans and the phone call that you had to make to my fucking 3-year-old this morning and everything related to that.
So this
and the envelopes and the paper and the United States Postal Service and all that.
So this motherfucker, right? He's just like, "Hey man, I need a solid."
No, you can't say it because it ruins something else that we're doing next Wednesday.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you should tell that because I had something that I really wanted to say about it, but I can't because of what it's connected to.
All
but
right,
next week we're gonna have a great fucking story about this. I guarantee you that. But anyway,
Will owes me a blowjob in the airport bathroom later.
Yeah. So we're gonna watch something depressing now.
Oh, great! Is it Praise's stream? Because it can't be much worse than that.
Oh my god! No, I wouldn't want you to actually kill yourself. That's horrible. And why would you ask somebody to do that? Why? What kind of person makes an argument for killing?
Let me just fucking present something real quick.
Oh, hold on. We gotta watch the horribly depressing thing really quick. All right, here we go. Everything was shot in the First you're born and then you die immediately. There. I hope you're all horribly depressed. Fuck you.
All right, let me just share my screen.
Look at the sad baby turtle dying. You guys want to watch a cartoon baby turtle die? That'll be something. Oh, come on.
Yeah, guys,
is
this is quality content from Praise I Am. He admits he likes wieners.
Oh, and I thought this episode was bad. Fuck.
Yeah, look at this shit, bro.
Hit the, you know what? Hit the play button. I'll try to see if there's a shotgun around here somewhere. I know I got something going in.
He done and stuff like that. You know how is a child supposed to be able to deal with such a high vocabulary?
I wish my vape didn't
You
die.
know, when somebody like Smokey says, you have to rape them. That to get the vocabulary actually in there.
Jesus.
Okay, that'll be enough of that. Do I have enough Motrin to overdose in here? I have an emergency aid kit here. Do I have aspirin? No, that's
I have a
Band-Aid.
full bottle of Excedrin. Do you think that'll
I
work?
think I got a paper bag and some glue.
This is the episode where we kill ourselves on stream, folks. Guru Lady's gonna be pissed at us for all these jokes.
Okay, I'm better now. Fuck. Oh, God. Is this what he does? First of all, Isaac is 30 years old. He sounds like a child. I understand this, but he is 30 years old. And second of all, why is Smokey a hot dog? What am I missing? I feel like I'm
Because
missing
Praise really
critical
wants
pieces
Smokey
of
Wiener.
information. He just can't stop thinking about Smokey's dick.
Oh. God damn it.
All
See what you did? Do you see what you fucking did, you fucking faggot?
All right, you guys want to see something really depressing? Let's watch Michael J. Fox near the end.
Oh.
Here we go. Who wants to watch an aging man with Parkinson's slowly lose the cheese off his cracker?
That's the point. I recognize how hard this is for people, and I recognize how hard it is for me. But I have a certain set of skills that allow me to deal with this stuff. And then I realized, with gratitude, optimism is sustainable. And if you can find something to be grateful for, then you find something to look forward to, and you carry on.
Write that down.
Oh man, this is fun.
Gratitude, optimism is sustainable.
That's the point. I recognize how hard this is for people, and I recognize
There you
how
go. Horrible. Isn't that terrible? I
Yeah.
can't oof. Why are you oofing? He's a brave man.
You're gonna make Guru Lady leave, dude.
We are okay. As a token sacrifice, Smokey, Lo, me, Quentin, Scotty, we're all playing Minecraft together.
Yeah, we are.
And anybody else that wants
And
to
if you're
play.
not there, Guru Lady, I will cry. Like, actually.
I do know what you're oofing. It was my sort of rocking and he's dead. I don't. He's in heaven, guys.
He didn't die.
Michael J.
Wait,
Fox
what?
is. Yeah, he's deader than Jesus on Good Friday. He's dead.
Ain't no way.
Marty McFly died before Doc Brown, and the only plausible explanation for that is the
Motherfucker,
DeLorean
he's
is
still
real.
alive.
No, Michael J. Fox is dead. Yeah. Oh my God, you're gonna make me seriously look up something I know for a fact. Michael J. Fox, age 67, of Midwest City, Oklahoma, passed away peacefully in his sleep. No, wait a minute. This is a different Michael J. Fox. Have I been gaslit?
Fucking retard.
Oh God, he's still alive. Oh God, I have to go back and take that out now. Oh shit.
Yeah, you're making.
Oh shit. It's so shit. It was the wrong Michael J. Fox. Oh shit. I saw it and I believed it. It said he died in the VA hospital, and I go, Michael J. Fox was in the war?
What?
The comments I made on this podcast were crass and inappropriate, and I have deep sorrow and abiding self-hatred. Had I known the man was alive, I would not make fun of his horrible, crippling, poor choice of words, horrible Parkinson's disease.
I'm fucking crying.
And for that, I apologize.
I'm fucking crying.
I just went on BetterHelp.com and signed myself up for therapy. And I am deeply sorry for all of the horribly disfigured people with Parkinson's.
Oh my fucking
And
god!
I
This
will
is the
not.
Second time. This is the second time today.
I will not
do something.
Do that ever again. I hope the community can forgive me.
I told you this is the second time today I've told you something that I knew was correct, and you've argued with me and been wrong.
Well, I wasn't expecting praise to literally word for word rip off a Veckel stream.
Oh my god! I told you he wasn't dead. Yes, he is. No.
I thought the bitch was dead.
Oh my fucking god.
Oh god, I'm going to the peanut farm with Roseanne Barr. I'll see you guys later. I'm good. We're good. Quentin, have fun with the show. I can't. I don't want to. I gotta go.
Oh my fucking god. Fuck. I'm fucking crying over here, dude. Shit. Anyway. Stop fucking laughing.
To my way through here. Knocks all over the fucking floor. I knocked him over. Did you see that? I knocked him over on the way through.
Oh my fucking god.
I just didn't want to get. I'm not wearing shoes because it's my house. And my mommy told me that when I grew up, I could have my own rules in my own house. All right, so where's the next horribly offensive thing that we can watch, huh? Oh god.
Oh my fucking god, dude. You would have made fun of him whether he was alive or dead, regardless, you piece of shit.
No, I would never.
Hey, messengers, if you want to come in, man, we have some openings.
Yeah.
Is the link in the description this
Messenger?
time?
I was born on April Fool's Day. You remember? You were there. # we were there. Do you remember when Kat told me she was gonna burn my fucking house down? Those were good times, right?
Yeah.
Remember when Ray just laughed? Remember that time I got a Switch?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, me either, man. Anyway, check this out.
God damn it! I fucking hate.
Happy birthday, Brett!
Mommy, excuse me. Yes. Can I put?
Mama should do that today, but she's not going to do it today.
Why?
Because Mama's tired.
Why?
Life.
Why? Why?
Because it's hard.
For life?
Yeah.
Life is beautiful. We can just do anything we want to do.
Oh, that's so true.
Yeah, there's lots of toys and imagination. And do figured it out.
How did you get so smart?
The TikTok.
How did you get so smart?
I don't know. Because my doesn't anyone told and show me how. Mommy, excuse me.
Yes.
No,
And
I saw this the other day, and my son has legitimately said something to me like to this effect when I was fucking depressed. And I think that that's probably, I don't know for sure. And we're kind of skipping to the end here at this point. But I don't know for sure. But I feel like kids don't have the same bullshit fucking lens on, right? Like they just see stuff and everything is fucking amazing all the time. And it's like, what's this thing? What's this other thing? Look at that. Daddy, look at this cool leaf. I don't look at the fucking leaves. When I see leaves, I see work. When I look at the clouds, I think, oh, fuck, it's going to snow. I'm going to have to shovel that shit. I got to pay somebody with the fucking plow for my quarter-mile fucking driveway. Oh, I hate it. When I was a kid, I used to look at snow and I go, yes, I get to stay home today. I can make a fucking fort, a snow fort with my brother, and we can have a snowball fight, and we can throw fucking snowballs at cars and duck behind the fucking thing. We could stay at home all day playing Agent Under Fire on the fucking GameCube and Smash Brothers. We could drink hot chocolate. I used to get so excited for stuff, and I don't anymore. Because every time I look at something, I look at it and I go, oh, look, there's more shit I got to do. Oh, look, there's another fucking bill I'm going to have to pay. Oh, look, another unexpected thing came up that I need money for. Horrible. Or it's but my kid doesn't look at it like that. No, if everyone just left well enough alone, life could be like that. I feel like, it's like, oh man, we got a blizzard. I have to go to work. Do I have to do any of this? I hear this from a lot of people, actually, especially people at work. And they say shit to me like, oh, you got to do this. You got to do that. Or I got to do this and get you, I got to write you up. I got to give you a referral. I've got to do this. I got to, I have to report this. Do you have to do any of it? Do you have to do anything? I don't think there's some guy walking around all of our lives with a loaded firearm being like, if you don't do this. No, you don't. You literally could just not do it. Did you know that? Did you know that, everybody? When somebody tells you you got to do something, did you know that you don't actually have to do it? I mean, at some level, a cop will show up, but even he doesn't have to fucking arrest you. The military doesn't have to come and stand in for the cops. The fucking government doesn't have to give that order. Doesn't have to acknowledge that law. If we all just decided tomorrow that, I don't know, smoking weed, that's a good one that most people agree with anyway. Smoking weed, we're just going to ignore federal law. We're just not going to enforce it. If everybody in the country just decided that we weren't going to enforce it, even if it was the law, not even everybody, just like most people, literally even like 51% or like 75% even, somewhere in that range, just decided that we weren't going to do that and that we were just going to ignore it, it wouldn't mean anything. Nothing would happen. Isn't that amazing? I've had this argument with somebody this week where it's like, oh, I was just following orders. Yeah, well, there were a lot of fucking Nazis that were just following orders. I know that's cliche, but everyone is just following orders. No, it's not. It's not anarchy. That's democracy by apathy. Quentin, you were chewing very loud in the middle of my monologue. Also, I think I'm going to tilt this down. I don't know what happened here. No, down. Thank you. Now you can look at my 5 head. That's not anarchy. It's democracy by apathy. That's my new band name. Democracy by apathy. There you go. Are you done opening a packet of crisps?
So fucking yeah, I was opening mail
Oh, okay.
and fucking god damn it, man.
Sometimes I have profound thoughts, and when I have profound thoughts, Quentin never fails to ignore everything I just said completely.
I just
That's
got
what I
back
am
from
trying
getting
to do.
mail, you faggot.
Why were you getting mail in the middle of it? It's fucking 9:30 at night.
I
Who
got
sends
texted.
mail at 9:30?
I got texted and said that I had mail, so I was also checking to see if my fucking food stamp card came in, and it didn't. So
You're not even gonna be in Virginia.
yeah, I know, but like it'd be good to have money for food.
Food that what are you gonna put it in a gunny sack and throw it over your shoulder like you're going to war?
I meant for when I get to New York, you jackass.
Your Virginia food stamps don't work in New York, genius.
Yeah, they will.
It's not federal. It's state. It is. It's a maxi pad. He's munching on a fucking wet nappy.
Well, I'm just trying.
I've been hanging out with Scotty all day. I'm sorry. I keep using fucking. I keep using pirate.
Listen, dog.
words.
I'm just trying to figure out ways to make sure I don't fucking die when I get there.
Okay. Here's Alex Jones.
That's that's will. That's striving. That's being a trailblazer and explore, going into space, mathematics, quantum mechanics, the secrets of the universe. It's all there. Life is fiery with its beauty. It's incredible detail. Tuning into it. They want to shatter your mind. Talking about Justin Bieber.
See, Alex knows. Look at that fucking tree. Oh, look, it's the inky black nothing that we all came from, right, fellas? Oh, look, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger doing a thing. How did he get in there? Life is fiery with its beauty. That's absolutely true. I'm getting a tattoo that says that. It's got Alex's face on it. That's going on my panger. Anyway. Quentin, what are you doing? You look like you're staring off into space there, buddy.
What are
you opening packs?
Looking at creative ways on how to fucking hang myself from a ceiling fan.
Oh, what's going on here?
Speaking of opening packs.
Oh, he has, Smokey? Oh, what a piece of shit. Oh, wait until Wednesday.
What are you talking
We'll
about?
set all these people straight. Nah, Smokey texted me. We'll set all these assholes straight. It's fine. It doesn't matter anyway. They're just opinions, right? Opinions are like assholes.
I'm opening Pokemon packs.
Of course you are. Okay, I guess I have to do the obligatory fucking pack opening. I had my Momoshiki Otsutsuki fucking open 2 of mine. I got shiny Pachirisu in both of them.
Hey, yo, bro,
So
can you send me like $12 so I can subscribe to the gold?
No, you fucking... What is wrong with you? Take a shower. Anyway, I don't have any free packs right now, and I'm not spending money on a fucking digital card game.
Even though you already have.
No, I didn't.
You didn't?
No, I got a Google Play card for my birthday.
That's technically spending money, though.
What do I look like, some fucking Indian scammer? I can't turn it into cash.
Do not redeem it.
Do not redeem it. Do not redeem it. No. Yes, you can ask a question. Matter of fact, if anybody wants to ask any questions leading up to this would be leading up to the 30th stream with the Smoky return. Go ahead and ask it now. I'm here. I'm open to anything. No spoilers though. I won't do spoilers.
Or if you want to come in and talk to us, I think the link is in the description.
The guy and I, the semi-famous person that I'm trying to get on here, we're negotiating still, but we're getting down to the last day, and I think he's trying to get me to break down and agree to his original price, which every fiber of my Jew DNA does not want to do. So,
I mean, is it hella pricey?
But I do really want to get this guy on there. What criteria should I consider when looking at a church to attend? Well, I'll tell you what, they're pretty much all shit. But there's a few that you can cross right off. The Catholic Church, that's a good start. Mormons, whatever church Praise attends.
So the entire state of Oklahoma.
Oh, those. Yeah. Gotta be careful with what kind of Baptist churches you attend.
Some of them will say that black people are bad.
I personally don't like Methodists. I suppose Lutherans and Presbyterians are okay. I don't know. Why? What were you wondering specifically? What do you mean in that vein? Like, are we talking about like what you won't know what they actually believe until you get in the door? I was just I don't know. Maybe I could open it up. I'll see. I'm just answering Lady Avon's question. I did say that you could ask any question if you want. Okay, the problem with non-denominational is you end up with a couple of problems. You end up accidentally getting lured into a universalist Unitarian situation, or you end up in something that's so non-denominational that they didn't even read the fucking book. So, my best suggestion was just pick one to start with, and if you don't like it, you don't have to go back. There's no obligation to go back, and not only that, you don't actually necessarily need to go to church. Because church can be anywhere. I mean, you go to church, right? And they tell you can't smoke in church. But what that's implicitly saying is if you smoke in the church, you don't want to be seen smoking before the presence of God. But God is everywhere. So if you wouldn't smoke in the church, why are you smoking at your house or in your car or wherever, right? So church can be anywhere because he's literally everywhere all the time, all at once. So, yeah, having a great day. What did you want to talk about, John? I'm open to talking about anything, really.
I'll let him come in. What's the worst that's going to happen? He's going to show his pee-pee.
It wouldn't be the first time that's happened.
It wouldn't be.
They never got taken down, and I never edited out. So
let him come
that's
in.
Win-win for everyone, frankly.
Yeah, you get to laugh at your schmeckle, and then
sure. Yeah, I'll post the link, I suppose.
Fuck you for your
Post
vape
the link,
thing,
Will.
by the way. I hope it dies.
Really?
I hope it dies tonight.
I was going to say something horrible, but I'm
Say
not
it,
going.
you coward.
I hope you fucking die tonight, you fat bastard.
Me too, you piece of shit. Jokes on you. I want to.
I can't help it. I'm dead. I'm dead ass. My memoir, the subtext under the title, like the Will Kincaid biography, is going to say I did it because it was funny at the time. Because that's pretty much my answer for most things. That's kind of why I do anything for me. It's because it's funny, Because, you know, I think that life is actually beautiful. It's like a lot of people go, oh, it's both beautiful and horrible, and that might be right. But the way that I look at it is that, like, if it's horrible, it's beautifully horrible or horribly beautiful. Oh God, different name. Okay. Yo, what up, Andy?
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm just give me 1 second. I'm putting my headphones in.
All right.
Echo.
That's cool.
Are you going to show your penis?
Yeah. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
Well, now I'm depressed.
I'm like, you know what? Thank you for being honest. In fact, we'll just keep it up. You want to be on the big screen?
No. I like to just talk to I'm an atheist. I like to just talk to Christians about their views. I just like to hear the views of Christians. I'm not even going to oppose anything that you're saying. I just genuinely would like to hear your views on some biblical passages.
Okay.
If it's okay. There's nothing confrontational happening. I know you hear the word atheist and you're like, here we go again, but it's not that.
Not really. Used to be one. My wife still is. That's not a big deal.
Okay. So one of the verses that when I read, I've heard a lot of different interpretations, and I sort of get confused reading it myself. Not necessarily verses, but messages in general. It seems to be that James, the brother of Jesus, had a huge focus on works over faith, and then I'm sure you could guess Paul had the opposite view, basically, to some extent. And it just makes, how do you feel about Paul taking an opposite stance to James?
I mean,
what metric of interpretation are you using to come to that conclusion?
I can't remember the text offhand, but I believe
what hermeneutic methodology are you using to come to the conclusion of interpretation? Are you using primary literalism, or are you using the general concept of textual criticism to come to your conclusion? Which leverage of scholarship are you using to come to the conclusion of contradiction?
I'm not a biblical scholar. I'm just a reader of the Bible.
Did you use any scholars? Did you use any scholars to come to your conclusion about a contradiction, or did you just assume it based upon reading it with no access to any type of actual scholarship to interpretation?
I assumed it.
There you go.
Now that we got that out of the way, could I have your opinion now?
I don't see any inherent contradiction between the two. I just kind of think, like, for example, like Jesus said that you had to forgive your brother. Is that a work? He also said you had to believe. Is that a work? Is it necessary? Is it necessary, or is it a fruit? Is it a salvific thing, or is it just something that comes naturally to believers? I'm not sure I know the answer to that question. I'm not really bothered by it either way. There are certain people on the internet who seem to have very strong opinions and make it a salvific issue, as if a tire and a wheel are two different things.
No, I don't think it's a salvific issue, even from an atheist perspective. I think that regardless,
how would you know that? How would you know that?
What do you mean?
How would you come to that conclusion?
That it's not a salvific view?
Correct. How would you come to that conclusion?
Well, from what I understand, Jesus laid out sort of the pathway.
And where did you get that understanding?
Brother, what is with the confrontation from you? It's like
just Smokey loves confrontation.
I do love confrontations, and second of all, another thing is I also hate atheists.
That's right. You can hate me. I don't hate you back. I didn't come. Yeah,
you do. Of course you do. Of course you do. You do. You hate the person I stand for. So of course you do.
No, I don't hate God. I don't hate Jesus. I love Jesus. I literally love Jesus.
You love Jesus. Well, why don't you believe in him? If you love him, you don't believe he exists, right? You believe he exists?
Yeah, I'll wait till you're finished. I just don't want to talk over you.
No, it's okay. Go ahead, buddy. You believe he exists or not?
Yeah, I believe he most likely was a real person.
Okay. Was what he claimed true or false?
Well, he didn't say anything. We have other people saying what he claimed.
So when someone transcribes the record in a courtroom, like a court reporter, you don't believe that either, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you
I
do. Oh, you do. So that's okay. So why is that okay? But the other version of someone transcribing the words of Christ based upon what they witness is somehow not okay.
Yeah, well, if the court record were to include like miracles and magic, I would doubt the court record.
Oh, so you presuppose naturalism then?
Yes.
Okay, can you prove naturalism to me?
That's just what we observe in reality. I've never seen magic or miracles.
Yeah, well, by the mere nature of the fact that it's supernatural means it's non-natural, which means it's something transcendent to natural mechanisms of verification, which means you wouldn't be able to use naturalism to prove supernaturalism, right?
Yeah, I've never experienced it. I'll put it that way.
Exactly. But even if you did experience it, even your own personal experience wouldn't fit their criteria proving something that fits within the realm of naturalism, right? Because anecdote doesn't fit naturalism in terms of a verification, right?
So if that's the case, can we even know that the supernatural exists?
Not through the realm of pure naturalism. No, sir, we can't, because naturalism only deals with the natural, not the supernatural, right? So if there's something transcendental, it wouldn't be able to be found or proved through naturalism, would it? So if you presuppose naturalism and you can't prove naturalism, but you presuppose naturalism and use that as the criteria to decipher whether or not Christ's claims were true and his miracles were true and his resurrection were true, shouldn't you be required to prove naturalism before you use it as a presupposition to judge Christianity? So let me start again. Can you prove naturalism to me? Can you prove that the only thing that exists is only that which can be proven through the naturalistic ideology?
I think it's a lot simpler than this, gentlemen. I think you.
Yeah,
I
want to answer you. I would like to.
Oh no, I will. I will. I just want to say one quick thing because this is going to go on for a while. I'll tell you that.
No, it won't. It's not going to take that long, William.
Okay, well, I'm going to say my thing anyway. So I think you either have Christ in your heart or you don't, and you either come to it, and it's usually not necessarily by logic. It's usually through faith, which is kind of what the Bible says anyway. And if you don't, I'm not particularly bothered by any specific person believing or not believing the same way that I believe. I mean, all I can do is show by example, and you take it or leave it. That's my. Because you did come in here to address me first, so I thought I'd give the full context of where I'm at.
Yeah.
All right. Now you and Smokey can measure
Battle it out.
dongers.
Yeah. So I would like you to prove your presupposition of naturalism before you try to leverage it to doubt or disprove the recorded events through the Bible and through testimonies and witnesses of what Christ accomplished and did. I would like you to prove naturalism to me.
Yeah, I just don't feel the need to like prove naturalism.
I don't care what you feel. I don't care what you feel. I want an argument. So I would like you to prove naturalism to me, since you used it as a presupposition to discount the resurrection account and Christ's works. I would like you to prove naturalism to me.
No, I'm just going to presuppose it.
Then you fail, and you have no presupposition to actually doubt Christianity or the resurrection or the actions of Christ. Because if your whole claim, like by the way, as I imagine, do you like Matt Dillahunty? Do you like him? Is he a good fan of yours? Are you a fan of Matt Dillahunty? Do you like what he says? You find him to be philosophically relevant?
Sometimes.
Okay, well, there you go. That's your big problem, is because Matt Dillahunty presupposes naturalism, and he does not prove it. He does not verify it. He does not give any evidence for it. He does not justify naturalism by explaining transcendental properties or things that don't fit necessarily in the philosophical world of transcendentalism. So if you are opposing the Christian narrative through the presupposition of naturalism, I'm going to demand you to prove it. And if you can't prove it, then your claim of doubt against the Christian narrative is completely fallacious and worthless and a waste of time.
I never opposed anything.
You did. You presupposed naturalism. You said that Christ's miracles can't be done. And the only reason you would claim they cannot be done.
No, I did not.
Okay. So they can be done. So Christ's works of miracles can be done. You find that perfectly reasonable.
Yes, absolutely.
There we
yes.
go. Okay, excellent. Beautiful. Then we have no problem. We have a bunch of testimonies of first-hand accounts that Christ not only did miracles but rose from the dead. So what are you going to use as your mechanism to disprove the accounts?
I will never believe in the supernatural until I observe it from my beliefs, for what convinces me. That's just the way it's going to be.
And that is presupposing naturalism. So again, I'll ask you again, can you prove naturalism? Can you prove naturalism?
No.
Can you Okay, well then you just have an empty faith. You're making a blind faith. Okay, so you realize you accept the fact that your ideologies are completely unjustified, that you can't defend your view of naturalism, which causes you to discount supernatural claims, but you're just going to do it because you feel like it.
No, you see, I believe that they're justified. You don't.
Then again, I'll ask you for the third time, prove the presupposition you use to judge these things, prove naturalism.
My lack of viewing.
I don't care about your, I don't care about your anecdotal. Again, let me be very clear, sir. Let me be very clear. I don't care.
Because you keep talking over me when I try to respond.
I don't care about your feelings.
When I try to respond, and I can't answer you.
Because I don't care about your feelings. I don't care about what you feel is right. I care about arguments. So if you do not
care about debating you. I don't care about debating.
Okay, then leave. Then leave, faggot. Leave.
No, thanks. I'll stay.
Okay, well, I have nothing to say. This guy cannot prove his position. He cannot prove his presupposition, which he is claiming to leverage to try and discount Christianity. So he's a stupid trash clown, is what he is.
You are lying now.
Prove naturalism. Prove naturalism. Prove the presupposition you use to discount Christianity. Do it now for me, please.
I would be repeating myself at this point.
Well, then you're a stupid trash clown and you're a waste of time. I'll yield.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Hello. I'm back.
That was counterproductive.
I wish you were smarter.
He's got ants in his pants. It's okay. That's the way he is, and I'm all right with it. He's still my brother.
Yeah.
Always will be.
I don't, like I said to begin with, I'm not here to oppose anything. I just wanted to hear your guys' views on things.
Oh, no, I could hear you just fine. My headphone is charged. So. You have any more questions for me or
me?
Yeah, I do. I'm just trying to think of some things that I've sort of seen opinions bouncing back and forth about. Okay, so how do you feel about the messianic secret in Mark, I guess? Or does that even?
No, that one goes way over my head.
Yep.
Well, I guess what I mean is when I say messianic secret, I mean that Mark seems to be the only one that's like telling where Jesus is telling his disciples to keep the messiahship a secret. Is that I hear from Papias seems to say, or through Eusebius, Papias said that that Mark was just getting what he got from Peter and actually wasn't a witness or something like that. It's been a while since I've read it, but maybe it's just the result of him not being a direct witness and writing down what Peter said. Or I was just wondering how you guys might feel about that. You too, Smokey, if you have an input.
I'm not sure if I have the correct context, but are we talking about? Smokey can probably correct me because he's more liturgical than I am. But are we talking about instances of Christ telling one or more or less of his disciples not to reveal a particular miracle or directly say that Christ is indeed the Messiah?
Yeah, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was the verse where they were like guessing who he was, and like one person's, I think you might be Elijah, and another person was like John the Baptist or something, and then I believe it was Peter said, I think you're I think you're the Messiah. And Jesus basically like shushed them and told them not to tell anybody.
Well, actually, Peter said, well, actually, Jesus asked Peter, "Who do you say that I am?" And he was asking who people said that he was. And Peter was reiterating, saying, "Well, some people say you're, Elijah or you're Moses or stuff like." I forget exactly what the passage says, but they're saying that basically you're a revisiting prophet. And then Christ asked Peter, he says, "Well, who do you say that I am?" And Peter says, "Well, I say that you're the Son of God." And he says, "Well, good on you, Peter. My heavenly Father has revealed this to you." So that's really what you're referencing. You're talking about who the Jews at the time were trying to extrapolate who he was, and Peter got it right. He realized and understood that Christ basically was the Messiah, the Son of God, and Christ extolled him and said, "Great, you did not realize this on your own, but my heavenly Father has revealed this to you."
Yeah, I agree, and I agree that the gospel was conveying that Jesus was the Messiah as well. I hear that disputed often.
Well, not just the Messiah, but literally God. Yeah, literally God. Well, and in the context, and in the context of Jewish scripture, and Jewish tradition, by claiming to be the Son of God, and this is in the book of John, I forget which exactly chapter, but when he claimed to be the Son of God, the Jews sought to stone him because that was making himself equivalent with God. They knew what he was saying. When Christ was communicating in their cultural context, it like saying the Son of God meant something specific to them. Like they sought to stone him because he was claiming to be equal with God when he claimed to be the Son of God. So that's.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I was just my view on the Son of God claim. I've always thought that a son of God, because like Abraham was called a son of God, King David was called a son of God, Solomon, and I just think, and Ezekiel as well. And I just think that son of God, actually Ezekiel might have been son of man. But my point is that a son of God throughout biblical history seems to have been like somebody that was given divine power or divine authority from God.
Yeah, but you know how the Jews interpret it, because the Bible tells you how the Jews interpret it, that they interpret it not in that general colloquial sense, but in the sense that he was claiming to be equal with God, and that's why they sought to stone him, and that's in the book of John. So,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, so when he claimed to be, the Son of God, like if we believe Christ is who he claimed to be, and we believe he's a perfect communicator, then he wasn't communicating inaccurately. When he told the Jews, "I'm the Son of God," and they interpreted it as, "Oh, look, he's claimed to be equal with God," that was the level of communication that was actually happening. And by the way, you're not wrong. Someone can claim to be the Son of God and basically be a direct creation of God. So, like, say, for instance, Adam would be a son of God as a direct creation of God. Even the patriarchs, like Abraham, claiming to be a son of God in the sense that he was basically recreated or regenerated in his state of being a fallen being to being someone who was directly called into the path and the ordination of God to fulfill his will, and therefore took on basically the position of being a son of God in the sense of a direct creation. Because even though he existed in reality as another entity, as basically a manifestation of secondary decisions, when he created his relationship with God, he was essentially in a way recreated in the same way that Christians claim that they're born again, in that we're recreated, we're regenerated. That's what makes us a son of God, because we've incorporated something into our lives that makes us a direct creation instead of just a byproduct of secondary instances.
Were you referring to Abraham at the end there still?
Still. That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think I don't have any issue with that. I agree.
So the Son of God has several different possible contexts. When Christ was claiming to be the Son of God, the Jews recognized what he was saying, which is why they sought to stone him, and that's what it says in John. Because when he made that claim in front of them, they recognized that as the claim to be equivalent with God.
I totally agree. I think that in the Gospel of John, they're clearly conveying that Jesus is literally God himself.
Right. I would argue that it's in every gospel, and I know that you might say, well, Mark is a little spotty on that. And I understand that that would be something to be parsed because Mark, and we in Christian theology and especially in Christian tradition over the last 2,000 years recognize that each one of the gospels has a specific theme. So, like Matthew is about presenting Christ as the king. Mark is about presenting Christ as the servant. Luke is about presenting Christ as the man. And John is about presenting Christ as God. And each one of them have a consistent theme that they run through in their delineation of what Christ's ministry and life on this earth was.
Yeah, that's an interesting take. I've actually never heard it put that way that you just
It's
said.
it's actually pretty common in historic Christian theology that each one of the gospels has a very specific intended theme to fixate on.
I have I've heard that they all have a specific theme, just not those specific themes that you listed.
It's king, man, servant, and God. Those are the four primary fixations of each one of the gospels.
I've heard it put a different way, and this may have been just because it's coming from secular scholarship, maybe, but I've more or less heard it put like, one of them is the Roman gospel, one of them is the Jewish gospel, one of them is the Gentile gospel, and so on.
Now I'll give you that. Now that one I haven't heard before. That's a new one to me.
I probably need to look into it more, honestly. It's just something I've heard rattled off. I'm not familiar.
I mean, really, and it's a little convoluted to make that claim because the Jewish gospel, if you're talking about what the Jewish Pharisaical or Sadducee type of legalistic gospel would have been, it would have had nothing to do with a risen Messiah. And this is why, the apostles, the disciples early on were almost confused at the idea that Christ would be risen. Because inside their own religious tradition, the thing that was taught to them through legalistic Judaism, the concept of a risen Messiah was never part of the equation. So when Christ arose, they were almost surprised before. And you remember the story of doubting Thomas. He said he wouldn't even believe it unless he physically saw Jesus and put his hand in his, hand in his side and hand in his fingers and in his hands and realized that it was him. Because the very concept of a resurrected Messiah inside Judaism at that time was basically a foreign concept. So the thing that ultimately convinced them to deviate from that traditional concept inside their Judaism, inside their culture, was in fact the presence and manifestation of the resurrected Messiah.
Oh, I see. That's not a terrible take, honestly. It makes sense, at least. It checks out. I think I probably need to do a little bit more research on that. I think
there was part of a reason why Jesus kept calling the Pharisees and the religious leaders at the time the sons of Satan.
Oh, I would love to hear that.
Yeah, the idea is that basically the Jews of the time had an extrapolation and interpretation of Scripture that was the exact same that Satan had, which is why when Satan was seeking out to kill Christ, he thought he was winning. He thought he was actually basically he thought he was tanking the prophecies in Isaiah about what Christ was intended to do, because Satan interpreted it the same way the Pharisees did, that Christ was there to establish an eternal physical kingdom there on earth, and that if he would be killed, that would somehow destroy the prophecy. But they did not recognize nor understand that prophecies in the past were multi-layered. And while part of it may talk about something in the immediate future, the other part of it will talk about something in the far future. And prophecies are layered like this, especially Ezekiel is a good example. The prophecy of Tyre, which I'm sure you know many atheists have torn apart, the prophecy of Tyre by saying that, Nebuchadnezzar was prophesied to take over and destroy Tyre in the book of Ezekiel, and because he didn't do that, therefore the prophecy was false. But if you pay attention to the prophecy and you understand the nature of Hebrew prophecies as they were delivered to the Jews, you understand that they tend to be layered. You get a piece that is intended to be fulfilled in the immediate future, and that verifies that the rest of the prophecy will indeed come true in the late future.
Yeah.
So,
did they then later on? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, so like the prophecy of Tyre as an example, where the atheists will extrapolate it to be, well, Nebuchadnezzar was supposed to conquer and destroy all of Tyre and therefore didn't. They don't pay attention to the idea that it was supposed to talk about Nebuchadnezzar attacking Tyre, but the rest of the prophecy talking about how it is the food of many nations, or the meat of many nations, is talking about what it would be after Nebuchadnezzar, which it ended up being, because then it was conquered and taken over and ruled and destroyed by many multiple nations afterwards, and eventually it was covered by the sea. And a Jewish traveler by the name of Benjamin, I believe it was around 300 AD, roughly around then, was traveling around and actually does note that the old city of Tyre actually rests beneath the waves. So the prophecy that was stated in Ezekiel is actually 100% accurate.
Interesting. What's well, I guess I'm just gonna pull it up really quick just for
Sure.
to reference it later.
That's fine. No, go ahead. That's fine. No, it's a good one. The prophecy of Tyre is something I love talking about. I did a whole video on it. And Joshua Bowen, I'm sure you maybe have heard of him, Digital Hammurabi.
Yeah, he's kind of a loose friend of mine.
There you go. He did a video on that, and I had addressed it at one point, talking about how and he's a scholar, so he should know this. I'm a little disappointed he didn't make mention of it. But the idea that prophecies as they're presented tend to be multi-layered, he completely ignored that aspect of the culture and the literature, which I find bizarre because he's supposed to be a literature expert of the era. So the fact that he avoided it is either dishonest or ignorant, and you can take your choice.
He might disagree.
Oh, he might, but it would be foolish to do so because that is the standard of historic Jewish literature. So it would be weird to do that.
It would be weird. I agree.
He claims to be an expert, so I'd expect he would know that.
Well, the thing about experts is that sometimes they're onto things that we don't see from an outsider's perspective, and
or they have bias and presupposition that they're not telling you about before they start doing it. Yeah.
That's 100% possible and common at that. He doesn't strike me as that sort of person. He seems like the type of person. The type of person that checks his bias typically, but I mean, I'm not putting it past him.
Yeah, no, I'll guarantee definitely he doesn't. In fact, even in his extrapolation about the Jewish laws around servitude, are very heavily in the realm of presentism, where he extrapolates the laws based upon, say, for instance, antebellum slavery. He doesn't actually, and he should know better because he's a scholar. So he should be applying the standards of servitude to the actual ancient Middle East, which he claims to be an expert of, but he doesn't. He actually extrapolates it to the most modern versions of slavery and does not actually consider the legal codes. And also, which I find very disappointing, he doesn't consider the comparative legal codes of other ancient Near East cultures at the time in terms of how they dealt with their slaves.
Yeah, I think from my perspective anyway, with the term slavery completely just put out of the equation, Leviticus seems to just describe what they're talking about, and it seems fairly immoral.
And under what metric?
I mean, just what I today would see as like being evil.
Right.
I guess
Presentism. That's presentism. That's presentism. Presentism is a form of bigotry, because what you do is you expect ancient cultures to operate the same way as you do with your modern form of basically regulated trade and infrastructure, taxes, money collecting, regulated currency, things that none of them had access to. And you take that standard of the modern world and you use it as a morality metric to judge ancient cultures. It's a form of bigotry. It's called presentism.
Yeah, I think that there are probably other ways to survive without slaves, and that
not in an ancient archaic culture that didn't have regulated trade or currency systems. No, there isn't.
Well, I mean, like, for instance, you can just hunt for your own food and survive that way, no?
Oh, sure. Yeah, you could go ahead and just go out in the wilderness and survive on your own and have a difficult life, or you could work yourself into a family commit yourself to a contract with a slave owner and have all of the comforts of that household as any other member of the family would. And I think if you were in that culture at that time, you'd be jumping up and down to try and sell yourself into slavery into a good household, as opposed to going out in the wilderness and trying to rough it on your own.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That makes me wonder.
I bet you would, because everyone at the time did.
Well, I'm just trying to put myself in that perspective. Like, would I give up my freedom for safety? I don't.
Well, freedom for what? Freedom to do what?
Just
live on your own, be out in the wilderness, not have anyone tell you what to do. Yeah, you could do that. You could do that now, but you don't. You live in a culture and a society and a city that requires taxes, that requires you to play along with the rules, that basically holds you under a bunch of arbitrary restrictions that you never agreed to, but that you're somehow caught under by simply being a liver in the land. And so you're a slave. You know, you've been sold under slavery.
I can leave.
You could. Yeah, and so could they. But they didn't want to. And I bet neither do you, because if you did, you would have done it already.
So I guess I'm confused. Why
you're okay with the type of slavery you're under, and they were okay with the type of slavery they're under. So there's no moral issue.
Well, I think if they are allowed to leave, it's not slavery, but I don't see why you think that the slaves in Leviticus were allowed to leave.
They were. Of course they were. They were all under their own contracts that they were allowed to agree to. In fact, it says that if anyone steals a man and sells him into slavery, that person is to be put to death, which is exactly what antebellum slavery was, where they stole people and put them into slavery. If you did that in the Jewish empire, you're to be put to death. That's a carnal sin. So if it's illegal to steal a man and force him into slavery, why do you assume that was the norm?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong here, but I've always heard that verse interpreted to mean that that's talking about not taking somebody else's slave and making it your own slave.
No. If anyone steals a man and turns him into a slave, and of course that absolutely includes just capturing someone and forcing them into a state of servitude without any contract or justification through the law, you're to be put to death.
Right. So when they go to the foreign lands to purchase slaves or to purchase,
yes, they are making contracts. They are making contracts with the slaves themselves, not the slave owners. And it's an assumption. It's an assumption to assume that these people were necessarily already a slave under a slave owner. They might not have been. And the idea that someone would potentially make a decision, they have two choices. They can either sell themselves into slavery or just be a slave, stolen and taken over as a slave, because that's how all the ancient Near East cultures around the Jews operated. They didn't have a law that said that you can't steal a man and force him into slavery. The other cultures would allow you to do that. And so the Jews were very progressive in their view because they treated slaves like people. They weren't chattel. They weren't something to be abused and taken advantage of. They were treated just like people, like everyone else, which is why they had to participate in all the feasts. They had to be given a day off every single week with the Sabbath. They were treated like legitimate human beings. They weren't treated like just chattel to be traded and abused like the Egyptians did, or many of the other ancient Near East cultures like the Arcadians or the Sumerians. They treated their slaves awful, and the slaves had no rights. In Israel, the slaves had rights. They were treated like people. And so if you had a choice to either sell yourself into slavery in Egypt or sell yourself into slavery in Israel, you'd much rather choose Israel, because at least then you'd have human rights.
I guess I'm lost on why you think that the purchased slaves from outside of Israel had rights.
Because you're assuming that purchase has to do with them being purchased from other slave owners. And I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you from two angles.
Well, I'm not. Like, I'll take what you're saying for granted that they.
No, it's fine. I can actually address it. I can actually address it from either side. It doesn't really matter. So like, let's address it from the first side.
I'm just differentiating them.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Let's do it this way. You tell me which one you want to operate with. They were selling themselves into slavery, or slave owners were selling them into slavery. You pick.
Either one. It's not, that's irrelevant in this for me anyway.
Well, okay. Well, I'll answer both.
The Bible seems to differentiate between Hebrew slaves and foreign purchased slaves. So that's what I'm distinguishing.
Oh yeah, no, there is a difference between a Hebrew selling themselves into slavery and a Gentile or someone outside of the tribe selling themselves into slavery. Now, the one thing to remember is that slaves that were in Jewish households did have the ability to become Jews. And generally, this was done through marriage. So this is what would happen when a slave owner would arrange a marriage for his slave. And generally, that was done with the intention or the understanding that they were going to be incorporated into the nation of Israel through marriage. Now, they didn't have to end up doing that. The slave owner could basically arrange a marriage for the slave, and the slave could decide when his term was done to leave. And by the way, this is what shows you that the slaves were not generally indentured for an absolute lifetime period of time. In fact, the law of Jubilee was something that was intended to basically not only relieve all debts, but release all slaves. And that was done every 7 years. So
that
is
what I've heard. The Jubilee, from what I understand, only applies to Hebrews.
In the shorter term, yes, it does, but in the grander term, it applies to all slaves. So there was a year of Jubilee that was like a year long. Well, you can probably help me with this. There was a year of Jubilee that was like a year long. There was one that was 7 year long, and then there was one that was like 70 years long or something like that. And depending upon which Jubilee you're talking about, it can talk about regular Jewish slaves, or it can talk about all slaves, and it can talk about some debt, or it can talk about all debt.
This is new to me as well. I've only heard of the 6 and 7 year slavery or servitude or whatever you want to call it.
Right. But and keep in mind too, some of the laws about Jewish slave treatment applied to all slaves, regardless of whether or not they were Jews or not. And some of which, for instance, to give you an example, if you knock out a slave's tooth, you got to let him go. I mean, what other slave market or slave economy throughout all of history had such a principle? It didn't. And what about the idea if you kill a slave, your life is forfeit? No other culture at that time in the ancient Near East had such a concept to where the idea that a slave's life could be equivalent to a slave master's life. So Judaism presented through the Christian moral paradigm certain ideas about the preservation and value of life regardless of status. And that's what makes Judaism true, which therefore, i.e., makes Christianity true, because it held a moral standard that was consistent throughout all of the eras.
Yeah, I think I just need something to help me realize why these Exodus verses that you're talking about apply to more than just the Hebrews. Because it says repeatedly.
Well, if it doesn't apply, if it doesn't explicitly state that it applies to a Hebrew slave, then it does necessarily apply to everyone, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is what I mean, though. It does say, like, when it says, like, your fellow Hebrews, like, it does specify that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was a different standard for your fellow Hebrews, but keep in mind, too, the idea of a slave working its way into the mix didn't mean he couldn't become a Hebrew. He could. Like, if he was going to go through the process, and it depends upon which school of thought, upon which era of Judaism we're talking about, but every slave that was ever incorporated into any household had the opportunity to become a member of the Jewish state and therefore get all of the same benefits that any other member of the Jewish nation would have gotten, including liberation on the year of Jubilee.
So, but this would entail believing in Yahweh, no?
Oh, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. Why would you be there?
Deuteronomy or something like that. It says you're not allowed to marry, foreign pagan worshipers or whatever.
Oh, yeah, there would be a process by which you would have to go through, of course, naturally, to be a Jew, part of the Jewish people. And yes, absolutely, your belief system would be a heavy part of that, no doubt.
So that's a big, you know what I mean? That's a big caveat. Like, you have to leave.
Well, then go live in the, go live in the wilderness and tough it out. That's your option. Go be free. problem is in this type of world and this type of society at this time, people didn't want that type of freedom. And by the way, it's like saying to you, where do you live, by the way, just out of curiosity? What city? You don't have to tell me exactly where. Just give me an idea what city you live in.
Flint, Michigan.
Okay, Flint, Michigan. Jeez, goddamn. Can you light the water on fire still, or is that finally gone away?
Yeah, they fixed it.
Okay, all right. So you have an urban center there. You operate inside Flint, Michigan. You engage in trade. You have a job. You get money. You exchange that money for goods and services. You pay taxes. Now, you could decide based upon this modern paradigm that that's slavery and you don't want to participate in it. And you could decide today to sell everything you own, leave what you have and go out into the wilderness and not be under anyone. It would be a harder life. It would be more difficult. You'd be foraging for your food. And maybe you don't want to live that way. Maybe the brand of slavery that you have access to in society is better than roughing it in the wilderness. And that's the exact decision that they made.
So when Leviticus says they're your property forever, like why does that seems to like contradict what you're saying about them leaving?
Well, you have to look at that under consideration of the rules of Jubilee as well. It's not like you can take any law in isolation and not consider all the other laws that give clarification. So we just discussed how if someone is a Jew or works themselves into the Jewish kingdom or a Jewish citizen, then they're supposed to be obligated by the rules of Jubilee, correct? So that would override that thing of stating, oh, they're your property forever, right?
So if they don't believe in Yahweh, they are your property forever.
If they choose to be there and they don't want to be a Jew and they don't want to participate in the Jewish religion and they don't want to be a part of the faith, then yes, that is their choice to make. And that is the state that they will be in. Yes, correct.
So they're not allowed to leave if they don't want to be Jewish, they're not allowed.
Well, if they've sold themselves into a contract with a Jewish household, then they're committed to that contract. That's just it. That's the end of it.
This is what I guess my ultimate question.
See, because there's nothing.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
I just wanted the recurring question that keeps popping up to me is where do we get this idea that they're selling themselves into slavery as opposed to being sold by a plantation?
Where do you get the idea that they're being sold by a plantation?
I'm not. I'm just wondering.
Exactly.
It could be either one, no? It could be either one, no?
Well, I'll tell you what. That's a good point. So let me give you the other version. Okay, so let me give you the other version of the argument. Let's say it was true. Let's say they're owned by slaves in foreign nations, and they're allowed to purchase slaves from foreign nations. Would you rather be a slave in a kingdom that protected human rights and treated you like a human being and said there were certain restraints on how you could be treated? Or would you rather be in any of the other ancient Near East cultures that had no such laws? Which would you choose?
Yeah, I would choose the less oppressive system.
There you go. And that's exactly what they would choose and what they would want. So the idea of someone in a situation where they're owned by a slave master in a foreign kingdom where there are no rights, they would be tickled pink to be sold into a system where they did have rights.
That may be true. I think again, maybe I'm just having trouble putting myself in their shoes because I live in the 21st century.
There you go. Presentism. But
for my money, I would pick the wilderness over either form of slavery.
I'm sorry. One more time. Say that again. I was coughing. I apologize. One more time.
I feel like I would choose the wilderness over, either foreign slavery or Jewish slavery.
And you would be allowed to do that. That's my point. You would be allowed to do that.
Okay.
If you see, because here's the thing. Think about it this way. The Jews have a law on the books that if you are stolen and sold into slavery, the person that stole you and sold you to slavery is liable to death. Okay?
Yeah, again, I think I've heard this interpreted to mean that that's referring to taking somebody's slave, not just taking anyone.
From who? Who told you that?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know.
See, that's the thing.
It's something I've heard over time. It's to be disputed, though. No,
that's fine. Sure. It is to be. Well, fair. I'll tell you what. I'll give you that. It's to be disputed. So if it's to be disputed, don't assume the negative.
No, I don't. It's like that's the way I've heard it interpreted. So until I've heard this view from you, you know what I mean? That's always been my view on
You
the
know,
verse.
yeah, and I'll tell you,
So
buddy,
who's right?
my favorite thing to debate in the whole world is slavery. Like, for instance, did you know you support slavery? Did you know that?
How so?
Are you on an internet connection on a computer with a whole bunch of microchips and processors that were built in slave economies like India and China?
Oh yeah, I guess in
There
that
you go.
sense you're correct.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you're right.
you do support slavery. We all do. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal. I don't have an issue with it.
Well, I do. I have an issue with it. I still do it though. I'm doing
get off
things
the
that I
internet,
consider
buddy.
Like my desire.
This is one of, by the way, just so you know, this is one of my grand fun things to play with atheists in terms of the ironic scope.
You
is to be
make
like,
a good point.
well, you're showing up. A lot of atheists like to show up on the internet to complain about how slavery is bad using mechanisms built inside slave economies. You can see the irony.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree. You make a really good point, but I think that, and maybe this is immoral of me to even say this, but like the internet provides such a benefit that it's almost worth it. Not
Did you
worth
know?
it,
Did you know? Will Kincaid, by the way. No, it's fine. Did you know? Did you know Will Kincaid actually, in a moment of brilliance, came up with an argument about slavery against Wildheart, which I thought was amazing. Did you know if you're on welfare, you're a slave owner?
What do you mean?
Well, so in welfare, you're getting money from the state, which is annexed and forcefully taken from people that work. So you're forcing people to work in the system and the government to give you resources so you don't have to work, i.e. the people that are working to pay for your monthly rent. I'm not you. I'm being euphemistic here. I'm not saying you. I'm sure you work for a living. I'm just saying, like, in a general sense of someone that
The
is on
royal
welfare.
you.
The royal you, thank you, is basically someone who is forcing the labor of other people and then taking the benefits of that labor that is paid through taxes and living off of it. So they are basically benefiting from the processes of someone's work that is being forced to be given to them by the government. So they're slave owners by proxy. You get it?
Yeah. I get what you're saying, but for my money anyway, the fact that they're allowed to leave and go, contribute to some other form of a tax system makes it not slavery.
Well, and in that case, you're assuming that the people that were sold into Jewish slavery didn't have a choice in the matter, and that's a grand assumption.
That's something that I feel like I need to look into.
Well, the other thing about that example is that you could leave and go somewhere else, but you're either you're either slavery by proxy on a welfare system, because most Western nations have some sort of social safety net that's akin to a welfare system that would equate, or you're China and India and Pakistan and all the other places where slavery is actually just straight up and down, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, slavery. So you could leave, but you're just going from one kind of slavery to a different kind of slavery, a different flavor, if you will, to use an ice cream metaphor.
So I suppose, you're going to be subject to rules at some point, no matter what. You're right.
No matter what.
Apparently, William Freeman is here to have a conversation.
Yeah, he sure is. He sure is. He wanted to throw some shit at me in Praise's side chat, so I figured I'd give him a chance to levy his claims or issues with me directly and see if they can hold weight to cross-examination.
Well, I'm curious. Be nice. Be open-minded.
Be nice. You don't know me very well, sir.
What do you want to hear about my opinion of you? Is that what you're asking me?
I want you to hear you back up your claims and your issues with me, which you apparently have.
Oh, you bothered Ace, and you're an ass clown.
Why the fuck do you care about Ace? Ace is retarded.
That's
what's so great about Ace?
That is not your concern.
What's so great about Ace? No, you tell me. Okay, you tell me what's so great about Ace.
Sure, I will. All you need to know is that I like him.
Okay. So
that's what I tell people. They ask me, why are you friends with Smokey Saint? And I'm just like, because I like him. I think Ray asked me that question literally this morning.
So,
He's
so
like,
if
I don't
I have an
understand.
issue, with Ace taking a giant steaming shit on all of historic Christianity, I'm the asshole.
Only when you bother him.
Only when I confront him with his
Yes.
bankrupt nonsense and ask him to explain it, I'm the asshole.
Yeah. It's not about you being an asshole. It's just that I've decided I don't like it.
Well, you can go fuck yourself, William, because I don't really give a fuck what you like. Because
Well,
as
I
far as
might.
I know,
I might
you're an
go fuck
irrelevant
myself.
moron. And by the way, you have nothing to defend Ace Theo over. You just like him. Okay, why do you like him?
That's all it takes. I don't have
Why
to
do
tell
you
you
like
why I
him?
like him.
Why do you like him?
Because I like him. I don't have to give you more than that, do I? That's the only thing that's pertinent to the discussion is that I like him and I'm going to be protective over him. And that's what you need to know.
That's actually kind of fair. I'll be honest, a little bit. Well, why do you hang out with Clinton?
I heard. Can I be heard? My internet completely fucked up. Can I be heard?
I don't mind if you go after
Fucking
praise.
Frontier.
Why did
can
I
go
get
after-
thrown into this? What the fuck did I do?
All I'm
Nothing.
saying is that
I just
Ace is
like
off
you.
limits.
Okay, well, let's say this. Let's just go ahead and get it out of the way. Ace Theo is a degenerate. He's a complete. Okay. Explain that. I'll go ahead and explain why Ace Theo is a degenerate. You explain to me well.
I don't need you to.
Okay, you can't. Okay, you can't. So you're just stating empty words. So now I'll explain why Ace Theo is a degenerate.
No, you don't understand me. He just likes him. Carl, he just likes him.
I get that. I get that. He has no justification
What
for
more do
any.
you need to know? Are you
Thank
deaf?
Will.
He just likes him.
I get that, William. He just likes him. He has no justification for anything he's saying. Yes,
No,
I
that is the
connected that.
justification.
No,
it's
we
a
are-
closed loop, Carl.
And we are
He
of
just likes
opposite.
him.
We are of opposite religious beliefs, and I still like him.
Why?
Because religion is not important to me. I like him as a man, as a person. I don't like.
Okay,
you as a
what
man.
about him as a man, as a person, as the old man
He's
smoking
honorable.
a pipe in his upside down trailer? What do you like about him?
He's honorable and he's brave.
What is honorable about Theo?
Easy with the pipe situation. Come on now. I've got the comically oversized
William,
church
can you
warden
shut the fuck up and let me finish this, please? Because now you're starting to
I
irritate
could, but
me
I'm
too.
not. I could, but you know.
I believe it's finished when I said I like him. I don't have to give an explanation for me liking him. I'm just telling you he's off.
Okay,
limits.
I don't like him. Now what?
Well, then I guess we're at an impasse. If you
There
fuck
we
with
go.
him, I'll fuck with you.
There we go. Now I can explain why I don't like him. Can you
I
explain
don't
why
give
you
a
like
shit.
him?
I don't give a shit why
Well,
you
then
don't
there
like
we
him.
go. Then we have nothing to
It's
say. You have
your-
no justification for what you
I don't
feel.
need
I have
justification.
justifications for what I feel.
I
So I
don't
guess
need
you're the trash panda, right?
Yeah, I'm a trash panda, and I don't
There
need
you go.
justification. I have
There you go.
terms,
You
and
have
that's
no
what it is.
justification for anything you believe,
Now what?
including why you like Ace Theo. You just
Right.
do.
So now what, Precious? Now what?
No, nothing. Nothing. You're an
Right.
idiot.
That's what I thought.
You're a
So-
waste of
so-
time. You're a waste of
and
space.
that's
You have no
just sound.
justification for anything you believe
You're
or
like a
anything you
dog
like or
barking.
don't like.
You're just
And
making
you're just a
sound.
waste of space. You're a dumb
Whatever.
moron.
Okay, that's your opinion. You've made a lot of noise.
It's not an
about it,
opinion. It's a
and it
fact. You
doesn't-
have no justification for anything you believe or anything you like.
Fine. Well, that's still just an opinion.
I guess what? I don't like Ace Theo because he perverts scripture. How about that?
I don't like you because you pervert on children.
Well, I don't do that. I don't. And come the 30th, you'll eat your own shit, you little trash panda faggot. You'll eat your
I
own
won't
shit.
eat any shit. That
No,
will
you
not
will.
happen.
You will, because you, like many of the degenerates on this fucking goddamn platform, just follow the dumb shit you believe. And by the way, I do believe you're an athist. You know why, William?
I
'Cause
don't
you
care.
you don't have any good reason for anything you believe. So
I
why
don't
would you
care.
have any good reason to be an atheist?
Do you think your opinion matters to me?
No. No,
So
I don't
why
care
do you
about
think I'm
my
gonna
opinion
answer your
mattering to you. I care about my arguments mattering to the people that watch you be an embarrassing moron in front of me. That's what I care about.
Fantastic. That's fantastic.
That's
So you
great. Yeah,
understand
no,
how
I love
feel
it. That's
about
why I
Ace?
do this. That's why I do
Right.
this, William.
Well, I've made myself clear. I'm not backing down at
Yeah,
all.
you like
But Ace, you'll
Theo,
be fucking
and
with me.
because you like Theo, you don't like me because I ask him tough questions. Great. That's brilliant. I'm not liked because I ask Theo tough questions and he likes Theo. Great. That's, you know what? There we go, folks. I'd like to present to you the brilliance of modern atheism. I feel things, therefore truth.
I think anybody can say that.
That was weird.
That was weird. That often happens, though. Smokey likes to go on tirades, too. I don't know if you noticed. Or rants or meandering conversations or whatever euphemistic language you want to use to
That's
describe
okay. I still
Yeah, it's
accept you,
okay.
Smokey. We can be friends. Yeah, I'll be your only atheist friend. I'm not here to challenge
There you
your
go.
beliefs.
Check your phone, William.
Why is everybody, what happened? Which, I don't even know where I'm supposed to be looking. Oh, God. For, what the fuck did I do?
You can call me after if you like.
I didn't do anything. I've been sitting here
You can call me
listening to
after.
you.
You can call me after if you like.
I mean, we were gonna have a hangout afterwards, so.
Oh, I'll be around for it. I'll be around for it.
Okay. I literally have no idea what's going on. I was trying to answer Andy's question for like 20 minutes. I was waiting for you to
William
finish.
Freeman.
You went on we went on 3 or 4 different subjects, and I was
What
like,
a
okay.
stupid fucking rodent. I'm so sick of this feelings horse shit. I feel things, therefore I'm gonna say shit. I am so sick of that fucking garbage.
I don't know.
What?
I think you're allowed to like anyone that you want with or without justification. I don't think
Really?
you need
You
a
believe that? You believe that, William?
Kind of, yeah.
Want to debate it? Whether or not that's
Yeah, I know.
reasonable or
That
rational
depends. Do
or
you want to
cogent.
remain
I'll tell you what.
friends?
Would you like to debate whether or not that's moral?
What's the difference? You just like somebody. Okay. And then what happens? Nothing. Okay.
I almost don't feel like
What
you
if
can choose what you like.
The idea
What
that Theo, who by the way takes a giant steaming shit on historic Christianity every day that he opens his goddamn garbage rodent mouth, and that somehow I'm supposed to kowtow because I ask him difficult questions, like how is it that you believe that Judas is his own savior, or how you believe that Judas is saved and Satan is saved and that universalism is true, and I ask him those things and I'm the asshole.
No, but you could expect if William Freeman's in the room now that he'll say something about it.
Well,
because they're
that's fine.
friends.
That's fine. Let him, because he's got nothing to spout other than
That's
emotion.
what I got out of that.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I get
That's
it.
what
He's
I
got
got out of
nothing. He has no justification. He's got nothing to spout other than emotions. He likes Theo, and by the way, as an unbeliever, he would like Theo because Theo shits on Christianity every single day. So of course he'd like him. And by the way, I've had 2 interactions with Theo, and both times I was incredibly respectful and just asked questions. And this little fucking rodent is going to come here and act like asking questions is somehow problematic. There you go. There's an atheist who has an issue with me asking a fake Christian questions and decides to hate me and slander me because he doesn't like me asking his rodent friend questions. That's William Freeman. Beautiful.
You can always, still be like, well, I still like him. See, there's no real argument there. It's just a statement of fact of one person's opinion, right? Because it's not a fact that I have no idea. It's not a fact that you have.
I forgot.
It's okay. It's not a statement of fact that everybody likes him, but if you like him and nobody else knows that whether you do or don't, and all you have is one man saying I like him, you kind of just have to presuppose that that's true.
You and me have a problem, William, and we can deal with it now, or we can deal with it after the show. You and me have a problem now.
Why? I've literally.
I told you. I just told you.
Here.
You want to deal with it now? We'll deal with it now. You want to deal with it after? We'll deal with it after. But we have a problem now.
Okay, let's deal with it after. I literally don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay, that's fine. I'll draw you a picture after the show.
Yay.
Okay. Well, why don't we just end it now then?
Okay, do it.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night. See you on the 30th.
Bye.
Wait, hold on. We're ending it, so
that's fine, buddy. I'm gonna deal with my supposed best friend here. If you want to take off.
What the fuck?
Okay.
What? Okay. All right. Bye.
This seems manipulative. See you guys.
See.